Now, I've heard you describe yourself as an atheist. Is that correct?
Yep.
Has anybody you have debated ever given you a good reason or changed your mind about God or religion?
No.
And currently, I have heard that you have actually started a church as well.
Yes, that would
Yeah.
be one of my goals is to grow, take my model of morality and build it into a religion alternative to Christianity. That would be really cool.
Mhm. Uh, Currently, as it is today, is it there's currently service or it's currently like providing functions for people?
Right now, it's just the live stream on Sundays. That's about it.
Oh, nice. Do you have, or do a lot of people attend or go to live stream?
Um, Back when I was doing it seriously, it was like 200 to 300 per show. But I haven't. I've been just uploading old content for a while now. I had lost motivation to really keep doing new conversations every day.
Mm.
So since then, it's gone down a lot.
But is it, has it been difficult or is it difficult starting something like that? Like a church, that is?
No. Have you been to any Western state in the United States? There's one in every corner. It's not difficult at all.
What are the most common topics that you debate?
Evidence for God is the biggest one. I say there is none. Somebody else says there is, and whatever argument that they center around is usually the topic. So that's usually the most common one.
Are there any debates where you've only, or are there any debate topics where you've only done like one debate on?
Sure, I did one where I was a Christian debating that God does exist and against Samuel Masson, who was pretending to be the atheist. So I've done a lot of niche debates like that.
Oh, that's interesting. So now in that specific debate, like, was that difficult for you to take the opposing side?
No, that's one of the things that's good about academic debate is that they require you, they don't tell you what side of the debate you're on, that you have to prepare for both sides. And so it's a requirement that you understand the opponent's position as well as your own. That's something that's a very good thing about academic debate. And so from my position, I'm always trying to do my best to understand both sides of the position very well. So it was not very difficult to try to take the alternative position.
In that particular debate, do you feel like you came away victorious?
Um, Insofar as that I presented a better case for Christianity than he did for atheism, probably.
But not enough to convince convince yourself to switch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no.
Do your tactics or maybe what you present change based on like these mini subtopics of what I would call religion, like existence of God, the truthfulness of the Bible, etc.? Can you like plug and play different arguments no matter what top subtopic of religion you come across?
Probably. So the way I interpret that question is to say that I wrote an epistemology, a theory of knowledge, which can assess what certain claims are and what kind of evidence is required for those claims. And so that epistemology can be applied to all of the different arguments for God universally. And I can start from a basis of using that epistemology in order to answer any argument that comes up for the existence of God.
And by epistemology, what exactly does that mean?
Epistemology is the study of knowledge. And so an epistemology is a formal method in order to establish what knowledge is. Like justified true belief is the contemporary definition of knowledge, and what counts as a justification would be your epistemology. So, eyewitness testimony could be evidence of something, or empirical evidence could be evidence or something, or shaking a magic 8 ball could be evidence of something, and your standard of whatever qualifies something as evidence is your epistemology.
In the topic around the existence of God, are or what are like the common themes that you bring up for in favor of your side across your debates with different people? Or are there common things that you bring up with your opponents?
Sure. So like Jesus drowned babies. It's a great line from Pine Creek. So like when talking about the morality of the Christian God, it does a complete inversion when you look at the patterns of morality when it comes to everything that we know about morality. So if you compare, for example, a power dynamic, the person who's in a more powerful state abusing their power to take advantage of less powerful people is always wrong, except when God does it. Or when a doctor is trying to heal you, if your doctor from the 1800s is trying to like save you from a gunshot wound, he cuts your leg off because that's the only thing he knows how to do. Whereas if a doctor today who has access to penicillin cuts your leg off, you'd sue him for malpractice. So the level of power the doctor has mitigates how much harm they can do to you unnecessarily. And if they do greater than necessary amounts of harm to you, that is immoral. And so a God with infinite power would has some goal, save your soul or whatever. If he causes you more harm than is necessary, that's immoral. But in the case of Christianity, it does a complete 180. He's allowed to do anything he wants to, and it's totally fine because I'm a sky daddy. And so the biggest argument that I bring up in the case of morality is the complete inversion of moral trends and moral norms when it comes to this one God. It's just special pleading. Other things would be like responses to different arguments, the fine tuning, teleological, the cosmological, ontological, moral arguments. The responses to most of those all tie together in a number of different ways. Naturalism can provide equally or better solutions to all of those arguments. And so I'd like provide a naturalistic alternative, quantum field or a quantum particle that is the necessary being, and can that explain the origin of everything? Yes. Can I explain the fine tuning? Definitely. The exact same way God does. So like I'll do the mirroring or stalking horse argument where they present an argument for God and say, well, God explains this in this way. And then I just copy that like a mirror and say, well, okay, well, the quantum field explains it in this way, which is like the exact same way. Problem solved. Now we have an equally as good explanation for the fine tuning as you do for God, and you don't need a God for it in order just to show that they're what they perceive as evidence isn't really evidence at all.
Are these debates regarding the existence of God, are they mainly with people who identify as being a Christian?
Yeah, mainly I've done Jews and Muslims and Latter day Saints, Mormons, Hindus, all kinds of different
Hmm.
religions, Black Hebrew Israelites, but mostly Christian.
And do you find does is there any sort of difference in the debate between if you are debating somebody who is a Christian versus, like you said, who's a Jew, who's a Muslim, who's a Mormon, etc.?
Yeah, Muslims specifically are about 400 or 500 years behind Christians in the level of their argumentation. So they're just objectively worse in so many ways. Maybe there's a few Muslim debaters who are much more qualified, but it seems like the vast majority of the popular Muslim debaters are just significantly behind in their knowledge of philosophy and science and everything, to the point where their arguments are the things that Christians were using 600 years ago. Um, that would probably be the most common one. Obviously, Hindus have a different view on morality, and so you can't say they're God drawn babies because that's not, it's a different book. They have different things in it. So there's clearly differences based on the per religion basis. But when it comes to evidential claims, if their evidence is argumentation, like the fine tuned argument, then yeah, they all get defeated in the same way.
And so your approach, no matter who you're or what religion somebody is that you're debating in regards to the existence of God, your approach doesn't change.
Oh yeah, but my approach is essentially asking them what is the best evidence you have, and so that approach is never going to change because it's essentially just asking. for their position.
Mhm.
And so it's not like I have a pre-written script or argument that I'm going to present no matter what the opponent says. I always ask them first, what's the thing that they think is the most important.
I've also seen your debates regarding evolution, and I know that this is something that kind of gets tied into religion. And why do you think this belief or non belief of evolution is so tied to like Christianity or religion, or do you think it is like very strongly linked? Like you, if you're a Christian, you don't believe in evolution.
Because in the Bible it says humans were created from a dirt from Adam, and woman was created from his rib, Eve. And so it wasn't billions of years of evolution from different species to humans. It was a much more direct process in the Bible. And so literal interpretations of that will give them the perceived belief that evolution must be false. And so it's pretty much exclusively a religious trend to deny evolution on the grounds of their book saying that it didn't happen.
Does that conversation change, or or maybe does it? Yeah, does it change at all whether somebody's like Jewish or Muslim or Mormon or Hindu?
Um, yes. So, like Hindus typically don't reject evolution. They don't have any reason to. It doesn't. Their books, the Bhagavad Gita, the Vedas, they doesn't say anything against evolution. It's very cryptic and non-direct, and so there's no reason to like think that because those books exist, evolution will be false. Saying evolution is false is pretty much exclusively a Christian and sometimes a Muslim thing, but mostly a Christian thing. Jews don't really care as much. Jews mostly don't take the Bible as seriously or as literally as the Christians do.